Hi, everybody. It's me and Sadiq.
Hi.
Y'all know Sadiq is just different.
I'm not different.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Nice.
So, we are hanging out on a Sunday night here in our apartment building and watching Home Alone 2, which we love because of the pranks. It's very interesting. So, 2 nights ago, was it Friday night? Sadiq wanted to watch the movie The Hate U Give again. And I don't know if you've seen the movie, but it's based on a book. And it really explores the level of trauma that affects our community based on the oppression and on the violence, especially of people of color. So Sadiq wanted to watch it again, and every time he watches it, he gets really upset. So I wanted him to come on and tell us why that movie makes him upset and what he wants to see change in our community. Sadiq, they're waiting for you. What about the movie The Hate U Give makes you so upset?
I think it's about how hard Black people's lives can be, and it's very sad
What part about it is sad to you?
about Khalil dying, but passing away.
And Khalil is one of the main characters. And what kind of happens to him? Oh, G-Ma's telling you to go on to bed. G-Ma, we're having a serious discussion right now. So go on away. So you say that it makes you sad to see Khalil die. Did he just die or did something happen to him?
Something happened.
And why did that make you sad?
The police thought he was in the car getting a weapon, but it was actually his hairbrush. So he shot 3 bullets at him, and then he went towards him, and then he went towards the car, and then he took Star out,
Which is the girl that was in.
and then she was crying, and the most saddest part is when she had to she had to watch him die.
Do you think that happens in our community? When I say our community, do you think that happens to Black people?
I don't think. I think so.
You think so? You're not sure. Okay. So what does that make you feel like as being a little Black boy? Do you feel anything or nothing at all?
What do you mean?
When you see that happen to a Black boy that's in a movie, does that make you think of you at all?
No, not really.
It just seems like it's a character, right? It's just somebody that's on TV. It's not real. You know, I have to tell you that they wrote that book and made that movie because it sometimes does actually happen. And I just wonder what you think about when you see things like that.
A lot of violence and sadness.
Yeah, a lot of violence and sadness. And is there anything else that you want to say about the movie?
Well, it all started when they were at a party and guys were fighting, and guys were fighting, and then a gun shot, and then everyone ran away. So, and then Khalil and Star went into their car, went into Khalil's car, and then they were just talking in the car, and then a police came.
Does that make you think that police are not good people? It doesn't. What does that make you think about police officers?
I mean, it's based on a book, and not all police officers are bad.
Exactly, they aren't. You're absolutely right about that. But I have seen some people that become afraid of the police after they see something like that, because in our country, there have been police officer shootings. We don't have cable, so you're not very aware of that, but art imitates life, and art is books and movies and songs. So the reason they wrote that book is because there have been stories of police officer shootings of men that don't have a gun. Doesn't happen a whole lot, but it does happen. So that's something that we as parents need to discuss with our children, especially if they're hearing about it, because it could make them believe that police officers are bad people, and they are not. But I will say, in everything is bad and good. There are good people and there are bad people. So I know that you were very upset watching the movie, and I just wanted you to come on and explain why you were sad. Do you think Khalil was innocent?
Yes, but he was selling drugs.
That's what they said. But did we ever see him sell drugs? We didn't. So just because you hear something doesn't actually mean that that's what's going on.
Yeah, but Khalil's mom said he was selling them.
But even if he was, now we didn't see that. But if he was, do you think that he should have been killed, or maybe they should have done something else?
They should have done something else, like gave him a warning, or
maybe even jail.
yeah,
But he didn't deserve to
die
exactly.
or pass away.
And what they tried to do was give an excuse as to why he was killed, but that had nothing to do with it, because he did not have drugs and he did not have a weapon at that time. Right? Yeah. Something to think about. Sometimes they try to paint people in a bad light, and that doesn't really matter. He did not deserve to get killed. Right? Is there anything else you would like to share about the movie? Was there something that
their names were special?
I can tell you what made me upset. Remember at the end, and the little boy picked up the gun? Sakani. He picked up the gun trying to defend his father because of the level of violence in their community. That upset me. And another thing upset me. When they were in the restaurant and the police officers came and they got the dad, and then everybody else came out the restaurant and they started bothering them. That actually happens in our communities also. So that also upset me because
Why did it upset you when Sakani picked up the gun?
Because Sakani is a baby, and there was a gentleman by the name of Tamir Rice. He was 12. He had a toy gun, and he was killed by the police. And he was just a child. So looking at Sakani made me think of what can happen to kids if police officers don't stop and think about what they're actually doing. That can really actually happen, and it has happened in our country. Any other comments?
What else upset you?
Those were the two main things, and then of course Khalil getting shot. And you know what else upset me about that? The officer did not get in trouble for that. That was upsetting also for me.
That's what made me super duper mad.
And that happens a lot. Unfortunately, I have seen things where officers do things that are not good, and because they're officers, nothing happens to them. They're almost above the law. They deserve to be punished when they do something wrong also. But most of the time, they're not. And we know Khalil was innocent. He didn't do anything. He just kept asking him, why did you pull me over? And he never got that answer. Any other questions or comments?
What was the most happiest part?
What made me happy is when Star decided to testify. Because at first she was really scared. But she decided to honor her friend's memory because she saw another friend get killed as well, and it made her say, I don't want to do this again. So she became an activist, and she was able to really speak what was true to her because she got really brave. That's the part that made me the happiest. Anything else?
To ask you.
whatever. If you want to say something or ask me a question.
So what was the how did you feel about Star's friend getting killed? Not Khalil.
Oh man, that makes me really sad because there are children that do get shot. People don't mean to shoot at them, but they just shoot without being responsible, and that happens also.
So how did you feel?
I was extremely sad about that.
Yeah, she didn't say anything until that time.
And I know that we're pretty lucky to live where we live, but I have lived in some areas that aren't great, and shootings do happen.
What about Chicago? People say that's not a really good place.
Well, you know, Sadiq, there's good and bad in every place. There's some parts of Chicago that are really good, but what they're saying is partially true. There have been a lot of murders there, but it doesn't mean that the whole city is bad. There are some bad people in lots of cities, but it does not mean that the city is bad. Any other questions?
No.
Well, I want to thank you for your time. Would you recommend that parents and kids watch The Hate U Give?
Yes.
Why? Why is that?
To see how if you really wanted to watch it, it would be good, but you would have some emotions after if maybe.
Yeah, that's our buddy. Don't forget, you got an audience watching. So why do you think parents should watch it?
To see how it and then starts in the middle of the beginning, middle, and end. The middle is mostly the problem,
Mm-hmm.
and then they solve it at the end. But it's happy at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that we should all look at it and have some really hard discussions with our children, especially as it relates to some of the conditions that we are living under currently with law enforcement and how the policing of our communities occurs. And unfortunately, there are some real victims of this violence, including children. So I want to thank you all for joining us, and we will see you all again very soon. You want to say bye?
Bye.
You're not very good at that.